weekday is session 8. So if you want to get all recapped, go check out that podcast for all of the episodes. But here is your brief recap of what happened last week. Hunted Jules had a heart-to-heart with Ghost Rising, his cousin and former travel companion. It became clear family secrets were intentionally withheld from Jules, making him question if the clan elder, Defiant Chains, is worth saving and who the hell Ghost Rising actually is. Ghost's salesman persona made him even more untrustworthy, and Hunted Jules chewed him out before leaving in a storm. HJ started out for the Barovins to learn all he could about the forbidden magics, as he likes to call it, while Rowena helped out at the Kettle Inn. This is how they passed the 3 days needed to wait for Cassilian's return. But where was Cass? He was in a deep conversation with Gary, suspended in space, only able to move his jaw in a sort of nowhere pocket dimension where time had not happened yet. It may have felt like an eternity when talking with Gary, but Cass was only there for a mere 15 minutes. The obnoxiousness that was Gary's stream of consciousness was only broken by a loud roar of an elven phrase and a sudden burst of warmth. Cass also got to meet the wizard Cornelius, aka Cor, a bald man with a long mustache that crossed below his chin. He seemed to be only interested in his work and promised Cass would be returned to his friends shortly. They slid a golden watch over Cass's wrist as a mild compensation for time lost and left out of sight to conduct their work. They also gave no insight into the strange elven chant that bellowed through the stage area. Gary then picked up where Gary left off, talking about their love of polar bear snow, how they were sent here after they saw a person getting attacked by a group of others, and how sometimes other people pop in and out. Then Cass began to fade and make his journey back to HJ and Rowena. The party had a quick debrief of what transpired back home, but sights were set on Fallen Scale shortly thereafter and a cure for HJ's clan elder. Off to the roads. They camped out at Rowena's old place where Alana Pritchell was hard at work. She handed off a book that the Wizard Corps had written to Rowena, insisting it was a fascinating read, and then immediately fell asleep. But when morning came, it was off to the roads as the forge burned hot with a potential breakthrough. No time for pleasantries. On the road, a family of 4 were found stranded due to horse thieves, their lives packed away in their cart looking for fresh fields to farm. They were hitched to the party's horses, but told to ask no more questions on the way to Fallen Scale as they crossed the hills into the desert biome. They shortly found 2 hungover bachelors, one with a broken leg, hoping to bum a ride. It felt cruel to leave them behind, so they joined the caravan, swelling the number of travelers to 9. Just a few hours after sunset, Fallen Scale could be seen on the horizon a few miles away, but a sound could be heard. The catchy tunes of the Crickets, a popular music group that's been touring the last 30 years. A group of 6, all on horseback, came to meet this motley caravan, and causing a strange ripple along the roads. There were now 15 travelers, 9 horses, and a strangeness in the air. Soon, some wolves came running across, snapping at the heels of the horses, before the ground opened up, and these large, beastly, gittering creatures began to come out of the ground. Where? We ended our episode last week. You're all caught up, friends. Did I miss anything? You want to, Cass, what's your recap of your time with Gary?
Gary was an enlightening creature who needed love, and Cass couldn't deliver that love at the time. But secretly, deep down in his heart, Cass has that love, and that love is going to drive him to find and free Gary.
I am so excited for this romance to unfold. But to get there, we're going to have to get into the thick of it. See you on the other side of a sweet, sweet intro.
But if I'm going to bargain, I'll take their lies and their secrets down with me.
A chosen champion of the gods.
Better remember the name Hunted Jewel, because the next time you see me, I'm going to be buying out the whole bar.
Welcome to the Tale of 11 Fates.
Welcome back, and yes, we are getting into the thick of things. We had one caravan trying to pass with a cart through the center. We had a group of bards splitting the seas to allow them to pass, going along the outside. And when they got about 30 feet away from each other, that's when a 20-foot wide sinkhole opened up in the road, and these strange creatures started to come out of the ground. And about 150 feet off the road, we had bursting through one of the tall standing plateaus amongst this desert terrain a larger version, screeching into the night air as food was present. I'm going to get initiative from all four of you, please.
Thought you never ask.
I still have my recap up. Need to get to the combat part. All right, anyone get over a 20?
Me. 21. I was like, I know how to do math.
All right, we have Jules at a 21. Anyone get above 15?
I got a 15.
I'll take it. Double digits?
12.
Yeah.
3 4s, 2 6s, 4 3s.
A lot of numbers for initiative. You're now going at 1. Rowena, what you got for me?
7.
7. And drop their fun initiatives in here.
See, that was my garbage roll for tonight.
It'll be fine, don't worry.
Someone in the chat says that I look like
Me?
Yuzep, but with weird lighting and no glasses.
Well, once I
Hey,
finish
You
making
should fix your
Zep
lighting.
tabaxi ears to attach to his headset, you
Yeah.
guys will be twins.
Like,
Yo,
that'd be sick.
It would be great. So
Yeah.
as all of this commotion starts off, is Jules leading the pack in potentially more ways than one these days. That is first to act. You see before you this pit kind of open up. It's all loose gravel going down about 10 feet, and from it you can see the first creatures crawling out, digging out, and also screeching out. There are 3 of these strange raptor, reptile, chitin covered beasts in front of you, and they seem hungry.
I fucking bet they do. Jules, and how far away are they?
They would be about 15 feet in front of you, would be the closest one, and then
Yep.
the other 2 would be about 20 feet.
Love that. For copyright reasons, we can't play it, but Jujutsu Kaisen theme song starts playing, and
knew it was
HJ starts running down, and I want to just basically boot one of these things back into the pit, and then I will figure out after that if I want to spend my key point, if that is okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That is how turns work. You can take an action before deciding what happens for the rest of your turn. So yeah, you move. It's only about half of your movement to get there. You let out a nice vicious kick. Go ahead and roll to attack.
Yep, that's my unarmed strike. That is that's a 9.
That is a nice firm connect, and then a whole lot of nothing as you kind of just bounce off of this hard, gigantic insect-like covering on this thing, and it goes from howling into the air to looking at you, and a nice big drop of saliva comes off its chin as you are now in its feeding pit and is going to just attack you straight back.
It can attack me straight back. I don't get to finish my other things.
Oh, you do have the other half of your turn. I
Yeah.
got real into the narration there. You still have 20 more feet of movement and a bonus action. What would you like to do as this thing is now drooling?
Yeah, I'm spending a key point, and HJ smiles. You can see it glinting off of his tooth, and two more claw attacks as he makes 2 swipes with his paws.
Go, go, go.
First one is a 24. Second one
hit.
is a 14.
The 14 will miss.
This ain't good. Oh, that's minimum damage. 4 slashing damage as I'm in this thing's food pit. And
yeah, the 1-2 combo hits, but the second one goes up a little over. You seem to have knocked it out of the way of your second blow. As you scratch it real good with those sharp claws of yours. Trying to remember how I thought I would be keeping track of how many of these things are actually up. Great. It is now its turn to bite, snap, and chew at you. And
there's no way it can hit me. My AC is too damn high.
Is it 24 type of high?
Close. You just barely hit me.
Dope. Dope. And then that is going to be a rock solid 3 points of damage.
How far away is? Am I visible? Am I within 30 feet? Would you say?
I guess this is a great establishing question, as you are going to be coming up after these fun skittering creatures. Let's take a pause from this. How big of Crickets fan are you? Can you name me like 3 of their songs?
Obviously. So, there's Fried Eggs, which is one of their big songs.
Classic. Look, I sing it when I'm making my breakfast.
Nah. You know that song, Hey Judas. And their other song, Imagine If We Came Up With a Better Name. Like, that's 3 songs.
It's classic, really.
Tomorrow. Nailed it.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, nailed it. 4 songs. That's way more. I think you come trotting up quite quickly as you heard the singing, you heard these high notes streak out through the land, and you're like, oh, something's going. You had that nice full sprint, and you kind of come up to a halt, kind of in between as they were parting the road to catch up. And you're about 30 feet away from this pit, and this Khajiit that just is attacked.
I am going to use my reaction.
I don't know what
to use my psionic power.
Yeah. Yes. Go.
I'm going to use my reaction, Psionic Power Protective Field. And what's going to happen is as I raise my hand with a crossbow and I mime clicking a trigger, and then this field of energy appears before you and reduces the damage by 6.
So I take 0?
Yeah, as this thing goes to stab at you with these like jowl-like tusks coming out of its armor, and like reaches up and tries to like rend you with them, it just bounces off of this force field that shows up, and you're able to trace anime eyes going back to this line of something to Lefty. What do you look like?
All right, so imagine what a 13-year-old thinks is really cool. So he's got a mobster hat that's vaguely reminiscent of a cowboy hat, and he's just got all black garb with a black cloak, straps. My guy looks like he looks like he's wearing a bandana to hide his identity, and he's wielding a rapier in his right hand, and in his left hand he wields a hand crossbow, and he is just strolling up, and in his inner monologue he goes, I thought I was here for a concert. Looks like I'm here for a fight. That's how he walks up.
And it's that brief reprieve that gives an opening for the other 2 skittering beasts in the pit to come up to your other sides and make attacks on you as well. And they seem almost coordinated in their endeavors. Does a 16 or a 13 hit?
The 6, I assume you're talking to me.
Yes.
The 16 does hit, the 13 big whiff.
Yeah, they
I'm
seem
just
almost
better.
in a coordinated pack-like strike.
Jeez.
Coming in after you for 4, as one of them gets kind of your back hip with their one of their legs just comes in and strikes just below your hip.
Got any more psionic juice?
I got one reaction. I got more juice.
And Lefty, you get that reaction back as you see this bare knuckle fighter in a pit with 3 of these creatures. You've actually encountered these before. You know that these are young Kruthiks. You've seen them on the roads before. You're kind of surprised that there's only 3 of them. You know that they usually go in packs of about half a dozen, and then you do look off to your right, and in the distance you can see an adult that is about 4 times larger than these small monstrosities you see in a pit.
How far away is the adult?
About 120 feet at this point.
Okay. Do I know how fast these things move?
Go ahead and give me a survival if you got it. If not, that would be just a wisdom. There you go.
22.
22. They are about as fast as any adult man, about 30 feet around.
Okay. So if it dashes, that'll be 60 feet. So I got about 2 turns before it arrives. I'm going to quickly jump into the pit, and I'll alert everyone's attention. I'll be like, big boy coming. You got about 2 turns. And then I leap into the pit with great haste.
A turn is a local way of telling time, and it's about a dozen seconds would be.
Like we'll catch it at the next turn.
Yeah. No, we use this all the time when like bar fights break out. Like, oh man, that guy's gonna be down at like 3 turns. Don't bother clearing the glasses. That sort of thing. Yeah.
1 turn is about 3 beats.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So with these, which are the ones that so I'm gonna attack the one of them that hasn't had any damage on them yet.
Great.
I'm just gonna leap into the pit. That is an 18 to hit.
That will connect.
All right. Yeah. On top of this, I'm going to add a little psionic juice as I thrust down into it. I'm gonna open up my palm and it shoots a little faster. Big damage. 12 plus 9. That is 21 damage.
That is enough to just snap this thing in half. You get this, you get your bolt kind of up into the side, right? It was the crossbow, correct?
No, it was the rapier.
It was the rapier, yeah. You're able to just sink in, and as you pull out, you catch underneath like a part of its insect-like armor, and it just snaps it off, and the rest of it just turns into goo and like folds in on itself. Lets out a even higher pitched noise that gets very briefly cut short, and it crumples on down.
Nice. And then as my bonus action, I'm going to whip out my crossbow and aim at the one that has been scratched already. That is a dirty 20 to hit.
That will connect.
That is 9 damage.
And that is enough to just have this thing screeching at you as the scent hits it. It whips around just enough to catch that bolt going straight down its throat, back of its head, and limps down there right at the ground. There is now 1 standing.
That is my turn.
Excellent. And that is going to make a rumble feel off in the distance as you can see that adult now just bounding towards all of its hatchlings that are now injured as the scent of like a salty mucus begins to fill the air, and this thing is a charging and a running and moves 60 feet closer and is now 60 feet away from the pit where all the action is happening. And that brings up Cass on 12.
How deep is the pit?
It really only drops down about 5-6 feet. It seems that it kind of like it seems like it more of collapsed what was underneath the road to where they're able to get out, but anyone else can still stand on it pretty easily. You're also observing the land. Go ahead and give me a perception.
9.
9. The pit still seems like it hasn't settled. Like there's still definitely some like movement and stuff within the rubble.
Okay, and But it's like a rubble pit. It's not like there's leaves and greens and sticks in it.
No. This is essentially just a sinkhole where the road was. So just think like a 20-foot pothole that has like some gradient slopes going down into it.
Okay. All right. Never mind then. In that case, I will run in towards the pit, but not jump in, and I will shoot my bow down into the pit at the last one that's standing.
Excellent.
What do you need first? You need an attack roll, huh?
An attack roll, please.
Sure.
You used up just about 10 feet of your movement to
7.
get to the edge. A 7 is gonna go wide.
Okay. That's my turn, unfortunately.
Do you want to stay at the edge of the pit or position yourself in any particular way? I assume you'd be getting kind of in between the cart and the pit, maybe.
Yeah, I'm probably going to stay closer to the family that we were guarding than I am going to be, pushing further into the pit or towards the adult.
Excellent. And it's at this point you kind of double back, check your bearings as the movement you subtly saw in the pit. You can see now 3 distinct points of just bigger holes opening up as 3 more of these small young ones come crawling out. And I'm going to see how well they dig. Ugh. Yep. So their turn is spent digging out of the ground that kind of just came in on top of them. And yeah, you can see little like holes behind them, and then they briefly collapse back in. Seems like there might be a hive connected to this area, but yes, 3 more young ones have joined in on the pit, and we have Rowena. There are now 4 of these Kruthiks about.
All of the little ones are in the pit, and then the adult is about 60
60 feet off to your left.
Right. I'm going to
also a stranger in all black did some weird shooty shoots and dove into the pit.
no, I mean, if he's fighting the thing that we're fighting, we can talk about that later. I'm super not worried about him currently. So, I'm going to pull a cookie out of my pocket and shove it in my mouth. I'm going to pull a second cookie out of my pocket and throw it to Cass and say, "Eat this!" That is going to give you 2 temp hit points.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then I'm going to post and hold my action, just sword and shield and hold my action. I am specifically positioning myself between the cart and the adult.
Sounds good. Yeah, you take your defensive position on like the left side of the cart, and the family is like peeking their eyes out, and the guy with like a broken leg is getting like helped down with his friend, and they seem like they're gonna try to like make a run for it on their own. The crickets see all of this and just in 2 lines of 1 by 3 just kind of hit the and like all go storming off, and they're like, "You got this, you can do it, friends, you're our greatest fans, free tickets at the next show." And they're all like saying like these weird like words of encouragement as they all go trailing off. Congratulations, you all have a D8 of inspiration available to you, as 2 dwarves and 4 elves go roaring off as fast as they can on horseback.
If they're going to bail on us, they better give us some bardic inspiration on the way out.
Yeah, you all have a D8 of bardic inspiration.
Delightful.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And the family on side, you can hear the dad like, come here, everything's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine, they look capable, they can take care of themselves and us, it's gonna be fine, and like the little like 4-year-old and like the mom both kind of like point out, and they're like, Lefty. And that's gonna take us up to Jules up on 21.
Lefty, are you famous? You also know these creatures. But what, are you famous? Okay.
Well, you could say something like that. I'm famous amongst travelers and this road.
Interesting. Question: should we be killing these things, or should I start running and distracting that big one?
DM, can I survival history check to see if I can know like what the best strategy is?
Absolutely.
All right. Mostly looking for, are these things just gonna keep coming, like from the ground? That's a 17 on the survival.
17 on survival. You doubt they'll keep coming. Half a dozen sounds about right for kind of like a hunting pack.
Okay.
You also know that typically if you kill enough of these in one area, they don't show up for a really long time. It's something about the way their corpses smell that they are then repulsed of the area. So if you kill all the babies, there's a chance the big one leaves. If you kill the big one, all the babies will definitely leave.
Well, here's what I think. We kill all these things, we can probably end this in a quick 1-2. However, I don't like the idea of that big one running around, so I'm probably gonna go and jump out there, tank all these attacks, and kill it in one swipe. How does that sound for you?
Okay, that sounds good. But then you'll have to beat me to it then. And HJ is gonna just run towards the big one. How far away is it? 60 feet?
It is 60 feet away. You do have a baby in front of you. Well, not a baby, a young one in front of you. So it will be an attack of opportunity if you want to just run on past this thing.
Yep, gonna run on past it. I'm gonna use feline agility.
That's to double your movement?
Yes.
Or is that a different thing?
Yep.
Great. Oh, it's gonna get a big whiff. I think a 6 is going to miss you.
Cool. And then I run up to it, do a jump to get on its head, look over to, back at Lefty and say, you were flashy, but watch this. And two claw swipes right at its face eyeballs.
Face eyeballs.
Those are both 14s to hit.
Those are both going to be knocked aside by its nice big eyebrows that kind of like
Are I doing
close and
good?
squint as they come over. And yeah, you got that 1-2, and you are on top of this thing. It is standing, about 9 feet tall, and the little ones had 4. You assumed this one would also have 4 legs. You can see that it actually has 6 legs, and 2 of them are coming up to greet you.
Did you know this thing has 6 legs?
It's very obvious.
Rowan is sitting there just pointing like, what? Why? What's happening? Why are we doing this? The fuck, you guys?
Anything else you'd like to do there, Jules?
I cannot do anything else. I'm tapped.
Excellent. That brings up the young one that is still up from the first batch of goers, who is going to see Lefty there after he whiffed on the monk, and is going to lunge forward at you. And is a 17 going to hit?
A 17 does indeed hit.
Excellent. And that will be a whopping 3 points of piercing damage.
Oh, but will it? I roll my psionic energy dice, and that is reduced by 5.
Excellent. So that will be a whole lot of nothing, as it comes about to crunch down on your forearm. You definitely have that like anime eyes over to it, and it just chews on some chunky air. You take no damage. It is in between you and the adult now. It is going to just kind of scurry back and forth, side to side, intimidating like. And that will bring up your turn.
All right. Can I get to the adult in 1 turn with my movement?
It is 60 feet away, so if you dash, you can. He used his feline agility to double his monk movement from 40 to 80 as a free action. And he cannot use that ability again until he takes an action without moving.
Okay.
What am I gonna do with show-offs?
In that case, I'm just gonna face off against all the How many babies are there around?
There are currently 4 babies around. There's 1 that was original, and 3 more took their turns digging out. Okay. And they seem to be a little bit slower than this original pack.
Okay. I'm going to take a swipe then at this baby that's in front of me.
Excellent.
That is does a 12 hit?
A 12 is not going to hit.
Okay.
We're doing great.
Bonus action. Crossbow expert, hand crossbow. That is a 20 to hit.
That
30.
sinks true. Go ahead and roll that crossbow damage.
That is max damage, 10 damage.
Excellent.
Go.
That is enough to take this one out. I've described how you killed the last couple. How do you want to finish this thing?
I with the whip from the rapier, I just bring it in close, put the crossbow right underneath its face, and and then swing it to the side as the arrow like joins its jaw to its skull. And can I leave the pit with 30 feet of movement without provoking opportunity attacks?
You can. Basically, you
Okay.
would split the difference between two of them. It's not a direct path, but I'll say you end up 25 feet closer with our theater of the mind going. So you're about 35 feet away from the adult.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll like maneuver closer then.
Great.
Yeah, that ends my turn.
And that is going to bring up the adult, who is not happy about its food on top of it right now, and is going to reach on up and try and get you down as it swipes above its head with its first attack. Is a 10 going to hit?
That's not going to hit.
Well, that also makes it angry as it tries to do it again with its other one.
It
And
would.
a 24, I believe, hits. We've gone over
Just
this.
barely.
Yeah. Great. That's what I needed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bigger die.
Is it going to do something silly like poison me or something?
No, it's going to do minimum damage with 4 as
Love
it just slaps you with just this big old.
I'm still starting to really hurt,
insect-like
though.
leg. I mean, you're level 2. You have what?
18 hit points. Nope, not even
There
20.
it is. Yeah, for those of you at home counting along, I gave all of our players maximum hit points. So I know that.
So basically, it's worthless.
Yeah. It allows some more creative freedoms for me. And that in the initiative order is going to bring up Cass.
Were we close enough to hear their discussion about like killing the big one?
I would say you would. They're not trying to be quiet. It's not like your enemies can.
Right, but we don't
understand
know
what you're
anything.
saying.
We don't necessarily know what Lefty knows about there only being half a dozen in the pit, right?
Correct. You
Okay,
heard
cool.
either kill all the little ones or kill the big one.
Right. Okay, so Cass, not knowing any of this, reaches into his bag and pulls out a torch and a tinderbox and lights the torch on fire and runs into the nearest hole he sees and jams the torch in there and just leaves it there in the hopes that it'll like scare away maybe any last bugs. And then, like, using my movement, I will move through the other side of the pit and fire an arrow at the adult, taking careful care not to aim towards HJ. So tell me
Sounds
how
good.
much of this I can do.
I like the flavor of it. I want you to get it all done. So yeah, I think you're good. I mean, you're not a new adventurer. You're just rusty. But yeah,
Right.
no, the like swish and flick run start off of like a rock for the torch. You're able to get it and kind of just like drop it into a hole kind of before it collapses. And then one swift motion pulls up like the arrow and you are knocked and ready to go. So I'm going to give you the torch. Go ahead and make that attack. On you.
Son of a bitch.
Oof.
Critical miss.
and it was this sweet action, and you're like, oh, that rust. And yeah, the arrow goes in and just like does that thing where it comes out of the stock a little bit, and as soon as you let it go, it just like flings off like a 45-degree angle and does like a couple of flips off to the side.
And that's exactly what Cass says. He goes, son of a bitch. And he prepares another, like starts reaching towards his quiver for another arrow. That's the end of my turn.
Sounds good. Can you do me a favor?
I can do you any favor you want if it means good things for me.
It potentially does. Roll me percentile.
Okay.
Where's that arrow going?
Right, around the world and up your ass.
Just a D100?
Yeah, just D100.
89.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. That's great. The three little ones' turn comes up after yours. And they are in the pit. Who is left in the pit? We have Lefty there.
I got out of the pit.
You got out. They turned to follow after. They saw a torch go in. One of the one of the Kruthic goes scurrying like after the torch and begins to like burrow down. And it's at this point that you can like get just kind of like this faint funky smell as just like a light goes off and there's just like an inferno that like shoots up in like a pillar of light as this like Kruthic just catches on fire and is only going to be taking 1 point of fire damage, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, there is a Kruthic on fire as it seems some natural gas has found your torch, and there's just a pillar of fire now shooting out of like the pit at like a 30-degree angle out of it. And the other two, you would be towards the edge of the pit there, Cass, so they are going to come charging up to you. One's going left, one's going right. They're both swiping in, and I think an 11's going to miss you.
Yep.
And what about a 15?
That hits.
Yeah, it's the second one that always gets them, and I have not rolled well for their damage. That is 3 points of piercing damage as the one on your left comes swiping in and gets you just underneath the shoulder. It stings a bit on the ribs, but doesn't seem to puncture skin.
As I'm coughing from getting hit, I have a faint taste of cookie in my mouth.
Ooh, yeah.
Yup.
Yum.
Delicious bonus hit point cookies. Sorry, special treats, I think is what they were dubbed.
Special cookies. I've been
Special
referring to
cookies.
them as special cookies.
There it
because
is.
it's funny.
And the
Blaze
very
it.
own special cookie chef, Rowena, sees two come skittering out. A pillar of flame shoot up, only about, like 6 inches in width, but is now just sporadically like firing off as it seems like natural gas has found its way to a torch and into the open air. One of the Kruthic in the pit still is now on fire and screeching. And there are 2 attacking Cass. What would you like to do? As you also see Jules atop the large one.
Rowan's just, much like your player, kind of looking around at this like, I just came back from picking up the pizza and everything went to shit in 5 seconds and I can't figure out why. Just like, what's happening? How far away from me is Cass?
Cass would be about 15, 20 feet away from you.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just kind of like at the side of the pit towards the adult, out of the pit, and then the other 2 came running up. It's about a 20-foot pit. The pit was about 10 feet away from you, so yeah, he'd be
Right.
about 20 feet away.
So I'm just trying to figure out, like, she's a short-range fighter, so she's trying to figure out what would be the most effective. If you'll allow it, I think the move here is that she's just gonna look and just be like, oh, for fires and fates, all right, and she's just gonna run and like basically attempt to like do a leaping like land on one of the things that's attacking Cass, also to get herself within 5 feet of him.
Yeah, you
Shield.
definitely have the distance and can kind of go back to back with him.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna run and dive in there and try to just like take a swing at one of these things on my way down into the pit. So that
This would be the edge of the pit. You don't need to go down. You just be on the
even
outskirt.
better.
Yeah.
I like not having to go down. So yeah, I will just run up and swing on one of these boys with my new short sword. That's gonna be 23 to hit.
Sinks true. Go ahead and give me that damage roll.
8. Ah, yes, that maximum. That'll be 10 damage.
And that is enough to tear this thing apart. How do you chop this thing up?
Oh, in her usual fashion, Run is just 900% done with this bullshit, and she's just like, fuck off! And just like slices his head off.
Oh, yeah. It's a nice, clean cut, too. Definitely just slices faster than your last sword. And yeah, that thing comes a-tumbling. The body goes limp, slides back down a bit. And you get a nice hiss out of the one remaining.
And then she like to look at the one that hisses at and is just like, oh, don't think I don't have some for you, too. And I'm going to action surge and take a swing at that guy.
Have at it.
Because I know they're both right here. That is going to be an 18 to hit.
That will hit.
Cool. And that'll be 8 damage.
8 damage is enough to bring this down.
Yep. Just swing one, slice the head off, and just bring on the backhand and just slice through the second one.
Yeah, Cass, you had two creatures suddenly on you, and as quickly as they came upon you, you look behind you, and there's now just two limp bodies in Rowena on your backside. And that's anything else you'd like to do?
If I have any movement left, I'm just gonna actually
About 10 feet, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take that 10 feet closer toward where Lefty is.
Okay, yeah, you can actually just be that 5-foot gap probably between Lefty, you, and then Cass. You'll have like kind of a diagonal line.
Yeah, that's perfect. I just wanna
Excellent.
be where I can position myself in front of somebody if I have to.
Yeah, and there is just one youngin remaining that is on fire in the pit. And the adults, the cart goers, just begin to cheer, Lefty, Lefty, Lefty.
Lefty like raises his crossbow and just like gives like takes off his hat and does like a very flamboyant bow. He is
Excellent.
clearly enjoying this and clearly has an ego.
And that brings up Jules.
3 claw strikes right to the eyes in swift succession.
Maybe try to hit him this time.
You do have a D8 of inspiration that you can use for your attack.
Can I know if it hits before I use it, or do I have to declare I'm using it before I know the outcome?
You can roll your die, but you can't know the outcome from the DM.
Okay.
So you can see your number, but not
Okay,
hear anything.
I am going to... I rolled 3 times. One of them is a 9, which I know misses, and I'm gonna... My next one is... And I'm gonna add my D8 to my next one, which is a 4. So that brings me up to a 16 plus 5, which is a 21, and then a dirty 20.
21 and 20 hit.
Love that. So that is 4. That's 2. I'm fuck D&D Beyond. I'm switching. That's 8 damage. I've only rolled minimum damage on my D4s.
Dude, oh my god, same.
You gotta do the Kate. I refresh you, D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Dice jail for the
Refreshing
internet.
now. Yeah, as I deal two blows of slashing damage right to the eyeball.
Absolutely, and it definitely hisses out at you, and it seems perturbed.
I just scratched its
that was your
eyeball. Yeah,
action.
it's
Your bonus
perturbed.
action. Do you have movement? Do you want to get off of this thing? Do you still want to ride this baby out?
I want to jump more onto its back, so it has to reach a little bit further to get me. But no, still definitely want to be on top of this thing.
Okay, yeah. So instead of atop the head, you kind of drop down to its first set of shoulders. Sounds good. And that's going to bring up Lefty,
Right.
the man of the hour. Now that
Lefty is
the
just going to.
crickets have left.
Lefty's just gonna take like a look up. He's like,
I really wish I got an autograph.
and then he's gonna sheath his rapier, get into a stance, and he's gonna mutter underneath his breath,
Psionic strike.
and then he looks up, and then he's gonna charge straight at this thing, getting ready. Is this thing a large creature or a huge?
This one is a large.
Delightful. Oh, please hit. I am going to add a D8 of inspiration to that. Thank God that was max. So that is 12 plus 6. That is 18 to hit.
18 hits.
I rolled a 4. That would have been so bad if I did my anime move. And it missed.
I mean, that would have just been a different style of anime.
It would have been very on brand for this
That would've-
party, though.
That would have been
lie.
pre-training arc.
Yep.
That is 9 plus 4. That is 13 plus 8. 21 damage.
Damn. How many psionic points you got left there?
That's my
sir?
last one, unless
there
I
it
take a
is.
bonus action to recover one.
You have a bonus action. What would you like to do?
For my bonus action, I'm going to fire a crossbow bolt as well. And that is a dirty 20 to hit again.
Which will connect.
That is a 8 damage. Oh, also, I needed to make a strength saving throw from that last hit because I used trip attack as I aimed for its legs.
Ooh. Strength saving throw, eh?
Mhm.
That
Things,
is going to
spider
be
things.
a big whopping 8.
DC 14. It is now knocked prone.
Excellent. I need Jules
Jules
to
falls
make a dexterity saving throw.
That's a 17.
17. Yeah, you pass the DC 14.
This looks like a game of Fall Guys, as Jules is running on this circular abdomen as it's falling over to stay on top of it.
Great. So you log run
Yes,
across this thing.
exactly.
So you want to still be on top of it after it
Yes,
falls?
absolutely.
Great. Sure thing.
All right. And then that was 8 damage from the crossbow bonus action. And now
Yep.
I'm going to action surge and I'm going to hit it with my rapier once more. That is a 19 to hit.
Which will connect, and your minimum damage is enough to take this bad boy down.
Oh, that's great. It's great news.
How do you want to slay the adult?
All right, picture this, right? Imagine you're in an anime. The whole style
Easy.
changes. It goes
Higher
from like
life.
thin line drawings to just super like thick, a beautiful. All right. And then he charges. His theme song plays. His blade is out to the side, even though that's not the right way to hold it, but he's doing it to look cool and he knows it. He charges, holds the blade, he slices it all at the legs, dropping it to the ground. There's a cat there. He leaps back over the cat. He shoots the crossbow bolt at it, and then he flings his blade at its head with a psionic blast, splats its brain, and then he lands, catches his blade, and sheaths it. Really cool.
And it all happens like that. You sheath it, you take that beat moment, a fiery jet goes off behind you, turns you into a silhouette shortly, and then the last baby that's still around that's on fire just goes howling off into the night in the opposite direction.
Still on fire?
Yeah, still on fire. It goes scurrying out of the pit a good 30 feet and then just begins to burrow and puts out the light. That's going to take us out of combat.
As long as it's not running into like a forest on fire.
No. You are now in a desert biome. There is lots of flat. Not a whole lot, but yeah, it gets off the road about 20 feet and just begins burrowing down quite quickly.
Or Smacky the Frog. For
just as it goes, we'll also extinguish that flame that was on it. And we're pulled out of combat. You can kind of feel what you were standing on, get less tense. So you kind of like sink in just a little bit there, Jules. And you were able to avoid the splatter of its head kind of just erupting and the salty goo coming out from it.
And Jules kind of like slides down off of it, so he's right in front of Lefty, and he like holds out his hand. Look, Lefty, that was awesome. Wait, and you said you were famous around here?
Vaguely. I'm actually
high five.
A bit of a friend to travelers.
Oh. I give you a hearty high five, but I'm not very strong, so it's kind of just delicate.
Very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Cool. So why were you here again? You're famous.
Oh, vaguely. Well, the thing is, travelers are my friends. I have a dark and mysterious past, and as a result, I try to keep it secret, but locals call me Lefty. I manage these roads back to a T-junction, back to the little town over there, and I make sure everyone gets across safely. I'm pretty known over at that town there. Are you heading towards the name of this town, which I can't seem to remember? But
Fallen Scale.
Are you heading towards
The big
Fallen
one
Scale,
behind you.
home of the biggest burger?
Yeah. No, we're heading towards Fallen Scale. We're gonna be really hungry when they're there. Guys, come over. Lefty's awesome.
As Cass and I assume Rowena start to walk over,
Yeah.
Cass turns to her and goes, "Who the hell talks like that?"
Rowena snorts so hard that it sounds like she's choking on her last bite of cookie. She's like,
And
I don't know.
And Cass like totally oblivious to this whole thing walks up to Lefty, and he like sticks out his whole arm for like the like this thing.
I feel you.
The Hercules
forearm,
handshake.
Yeah.
The forearm handshake. And and he like sticks out. What race are you? Sorry, I don't think
I'm
I
a
caught
human.
this. Oh, you are a human. Okay.
Yeah.
And like kind of sticks out his arm for this and goes, Caecilian Didrove.
Lefty.
And he reaches out with his right hand.
Pylos the player cannot unhear this, but I am trying so hard. And he goes, good moves out there. And he pulls his arm back.
You too, although I could see that you need a little work on your longbowmanship.
Been a long time since I've been in a fight.
The war.
It's at this moment you all are like, the war.
And
The one from like 1400 years ago.
Oh,
Caecilian, without missing a beat, goes, I was a champion.
Really? You know, I have a bit of a relation with some former champions, but
oh, for
Good time.
fuck's sake! Will y'all push it back in your pants? Back on the road. Times and fates. We can do the machismo thing over drinks.
oh, I don't do
God.
machismo. I do class. Nice
Is
to
that
meet
what
you.
they call it? Good to know. Apparently, I've gotten old in the last 20 years.
Lefty pulls down his bandit mask, and he looks like a young dude. He just looks like the most normal young dude, and he takes off his hat, and it's like the most politely combed hair you've ever seen. And he's just like,
Yeah, I can show you around. I'd be more than happy to. I'm sure I can get you a good rate with the locals at an inn, and I do know a thing or two about food, as you might say.
Just clarifying question for you, Lefty. I know that you're the epitome of what a 13-year-old thinks is cool. How old is Lefty?
25.
Great. Just want to make sure.
I
I was
gonna
like,
say, like,
13, young 20s, not sure.
If
Okay.
you are young enough to be Rowan's kid, this is going to be a very different style of conversation. Okay, cool.
Cool. Yeah.
He is in fact 25. He is definitely, I think it's pretty obvious this is what happens when a kid does not get to experiment with their appearance or style in their youth, and then they have a rebellious 20s instead of a rebellious teens. So
Rowena just kind of looks around at everybody and is like, right, so now that we're done dealing with the problem and we've all, put it on the table for everyone to measure, could we maybe get into some semblance of safety? Also, you should wipe your sword off before you sheath it. It's gonna rust the inside of the scabbard and cause problems if you don't.
I don't use a scabbard. It's just a belt loop.
Oh, fires and fates. All right, we're gonna have a talk about that too. And she's just gonna like shake her head and like wipe. She's like wiping her sword on her pants, and then she'll sheath her sword, and she's just gonna hike back toward the wagon and kind of doing the hand for the family, like, all right, everybody back on, we're going.
You're like halfway back and you do the nice hand gesture, and your horse kind of like takes the lead and gets everyone moving around the pit as it seems safely.
Such a good boy.
Yeah, goes around the far side, doesn't like the smell drifting off towards the adult. But yeah, gets that going, immediately catches up to the two bachelors who are moving it like 10 feet around because one of them has a broken leg. And they like help him back up like as it's going by. You can head back to your rough caravan.
Mark, is there still a fire going off in the pit, in the feeding pit?
It has died down.
Okay.
Yeah, so it had like its last big spurt, and it seems like that was enough to extinguish it. So it went off in a jet and kind of just a puff out, like a tiny dragon breathing fire into the night.
Very good.
Yeah, I was really hoping it would explode, but
I will follow Rowena and get back on the cart as well to check on the family.
Yeah, you come up and kind of get past, and like the little 4-year-old kid is just bright-eyed, like Lefty, and like the mom is like trying to quiet him up a bit, and Dad's like, it seems like everything's fine. Thank you. I'm really happy you were able to help Lefty.
Fine enough. What do you know about this guy?
We heard about him when we were on our way. He's kind of a good omen for travelers. A little bit of money and a little bit of shelter, and he's your best friend until you get to where you need to go. Seems an able protector, and he's has a pretty long-standing reputation in these parts.
Caecilian lets out like an audible. I can't really think of how I want this grunt to sound, but kind of like a and then sits down next to Rowena, and like you're at the like driver's seat, for lack of better phrasing, right?
Yeah, I would have hopped back on.
Reins.
The reins. Thank you. And he kind of just sits down quietly, and he goes, how much further do you think we have to get to town?
I'm pretty sure it's just over that ridge there, so 30 minutes an hour if we push.
All right. And then he'll actually remember that he was walking along the carriage the whole time, and he'll hop off and like just call for HJ. HJ, let's go.
All right, yeah, let's get to Fallen Scale.
Rowena will glance down at Cass and be like, did you want to turn to ride? I didn't get hit at all in that fight. I can walk for a bit.
I'm fine. And then he'll like turn and look at Lefty and just kind of be like, are you coming?
Well, I don't see why not. It seems as though my destiny may still be lying in Fallen Scale, so I'll hitch a ride.
He takes off his hat and then he puts it on the 4-year-old kid's head for now. and then he says,
I hope you don't mind, though. I do think I need a bit of a rest. I tired out my arm, you know. You're not supposed to slice with rapiers. I have a habit of doing that from...
Yeah, no, it's really not how they're meant to be used. They're more of a... You know what? Here, you take the driver's seat, I'll walk.
Thank
you don't have to drive. The horses know what they're doing.
Talented horses.
You look, and it's actually 3 horses, and there's like a lead horse, almost like a lead like race dog would be. Like normally you'd either have like just 2 or you'd have 4, but it seems like this one is actually leading the other 2, and you're like, oh, this is a bit strange for a cart, but it knows what it's doing. You also notice the horse on the right is just ugly as fuck.
Why do you have this mangled dog in a leash?
We didn't really have an option. His name's Brutus. He's nicer than the other one, though. The other Brutus, I mean. Hopefully you'll never meet him.
There's 2 Brutuses?
Yeah, one of them's a pain in the arse, and the other one's a horse.
Ha! Comedy.
That is the line in which Cass throws his hood of his cloak on and ties it, and under his breath says to himself, are you making a joke of me? And like starts walking forward and like walks ahead of but very obviously like to himself, and is just like, what the fuck?
To clue in our guest of your statement piece, what's this cloak looking like?
Yes, this cloak is a when you look at Cass, you notice that this cloak is in immaculate, perfect condition. It is purple with green, or I'm sorry, it's green with purple tapestries of like trees and nature and different roots, you know, coming off of the tree, and it is just in perfect condition, but everything under the robe looks like it has been worn through. Like you can definitely see the ranger aspect of Cass when you look under the robe, but the robe is immaculate and undamaged in any way, and you can obviously see the the combat that's existed in his life, but just not on the robe. So yeah, he throws on the hood and to himself just kind of mutters, "Are you making a joke of me?" And just keeps walking ahead of the cart.
And yeah, you were about right with your estimation. It's about 35 minutes to town. Lefty, you're definitely relieved that you don't have to, go on any sort of long excursion before finding your next travelers, even though you don't get your autograph you so wanted.
Still bummed about it. Lefty's just like, I'm mulling it over. He's like,
Oh, I guess I could have come here a little quicker, but I was intent on tying my shoes first. Never leave town without tying your shoes. That's what my mother used to say.
Honestly,
Dearly.
not bad advice.
Well, like,
Little strange, but not bad.
She had a habit of doing that, giving good advice that was oddly particular. Never know when you use it until you do.
so how about that food? I'm really hungry, actually.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, one little thing about Fallen Scale. I called it home of the biggest burger because, honestly, by the fates, these burgers are huge. There's a challenge here. Apparently, if you eat their biggest burger, you get your face put up on a wall, and you get to meet the fates. I don't believe that last part, but I definitely believe the wall part. But it's a huge burger. It's got 4 slices of super cut bacon, 3 extra large fried eggs, and it's 4 pounds. Well, the burger part, not the rest of it. I can't wait I've tried to finish it many times, but I just usually end up folding. I don't exactly have the biggest gut around.
You had me at bacon.
Super cut bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Super cut.
Yeah, he goes into like the intricacies of how it's made. Like a super cut piece of bacon is like 3 inches wide and like 9 inches long. Like it's basically like one length of a pig slice. Like it just real fat, thick,
Oh God,
delicious sounding. And these
Basically
eggs,
pork loin.
yeah. These eggs aren't just like your large version of a chicken egg. It's somewhere between that and a small ostrich egg. So like 3 of these eggs are essentially just like a 6-egg omelet on their own. It sounds like too much, but also delectable in the way he's got all this passionate about it, and it helps cover the time into town. And it's as you come into town, it's just a bit before 9 p.m. Sun's been down about 2.5, close to 3 hours. And it's a familiar gate. It's attached to nice big walls. You know, Lefty, that this helps break up kind of the sandy winds and keeps the streets on the inside a bit more clean. But what you didn't see on the way out of town is another tabaxi who seems to be posted up on kind of a small crate, and the rest of you recognize Ghost Rising, sitting there, twiddling his thumbs, waiting for you.
Have I delivered this tabaxi before? Have I served them before, or is this their first time?
Give me a straight up D20 roll.
That's a 6.
You do not recall if you have or have not. You've helped orange tabaxis in the past. You're not sure if it was this one.
Okay.
But yeah, you have a ghost there.
Yep. HJ scampers straight up. Why are you here?
You wanted the honest me, and honestly, I will do anything to help the clan. So, got some intel for you.
HJ kind of leans back, crosses his arms. What?
Lefty, you don't recognize this particular tabaxi. You've helped a few in your time along these roads. But yeah, he's got some intel there for you, HJ.
What is it?
Well, that cabbage cactus you're looking for is on a farm west of town, 3 1/3 miles west. It's owned by the Dubose Brothers. They have a farmhouse on a circle acre, a little more than 150 feet wide. They're in a pricing war with locals right now, and they got a round cactus season started about 2 weeks ago, but they haven't sold a single cactus yet. Well, apparently they've never been this large, and they're only getting juicier. Single cactus is going for 60 gold right now. I've only seen them melon-sized, and these are pumpkin size. Ones you could put like a cub in. Unfortunately, you can't pick your own. They just hand you one when you buy it. And he like flips up the crate and like hands it over to you. And yeah, sure enough, there is a pumpkin-sized round ball cactus in it that's had all of the needles pulled out.
No, wait. How have you gotten all the way there and back here?
Did you not see me leave 3 days ago from Aria?
You've been traveling this whole time? You didn't even stop? You didn't sleep?
No.
Okay, what? Keep going. What else?
Okay, well, the Dubose Brothers, there's 2 of them, and they both seem to be quite handy with a crossbow. If you decide to get in close, though, they seem to have pop-out blades in their stocks. It's going to be hard getting close because they have a gnome down at the base of their plateau that their farm's situated on. During the day, he's their go-between. He announces customers through some sort of pipe he says he installed into the cliff. And when he left, he seemed to arm it or secure it or something. He pulled out a little crank from his bag, gave it a couple of turns, put it back in, and me and him went back into town. Oh, there's also at least one more person upstairs. Maybe their night watch. Heard them stirring yesterday around sundown. Sounded like they were just waking up. But when I left, I looked back up to their little plateau, and there's a pair of glowing green eyes over the crest watching me leave. I think whoever it was upstairs might be a summoner of some kind.
Can I
Is that Lefty?
I want to roll a vibe check really quick before we get into this dialogue.
Give me that insight check.
Yeah, just like what's his like demeanor? I know that I really laid into him back at the other place, so I just want to like get a vibe check on him right now, like how he's feeling.
Also, just for clarification, are we close enough to be overhearing this conversation?
The first half you may have missed, but if you wanted to keep continuing, Jules did kind of like run up, and Ghost is not trying to talk loudly.
Yeah. I mean, Rowena would have immediately recognized Ghost and would have not inserted herself into the conversation, but would have definitely walked up close enough where if something goes down, she's there and would probably be kind of just
And I guess,
waiting.
Cass, you don't recognize this person.
Yep. That's a 17 on insight.
He seems real tired. He seems real cranky, and he's being as direct as he's ever been with you. The like small recognition of Lefty kind of throws you off at the end. But yeah, seems straight and on the narrow, and just seems kind of haggard.
Yeah, this is Lefty. We met him down on the road.
Oh, have I serviced you before?
You've helped some I think we did have a short time together. You helped me carry a box of spice over to
Don't make it sound so romantic.
I have a tip for you as well.
Oh,
There's an orc in town who can do what you do.
appreciate it.
I slip him a gold.
Appreciate it.
Anything else, Ghost? You must be just exhausted.
I am, but I have a schedule to keep, so I'm off.
Where are you off to next?
Heading home.
We're about to eat the biggest burger.
Oh,
I don't think we'll finish it.
I've seen it. I hope you all get a piece.
This is how I invite people. I say what I'm doing, and then I leave an open-ended question at the end so that people insert themselves into things.
Well, I
this is
don't
an
think he'll
offer.
be joining us.
No.
Oh,
Headed home.
Lefty's gonna realize he's misread the room, and he's gonna go back to the cart and just like bandana up and like head in shame, just like. How did I not see that? Oh my god! I was being friendly. They are not friends.
Oh, it's probably very clear that it is specifically just Rowena that he is not pleased to see.
But yeah, Ghost is no, not much. Oh, and he like go ahead and gets in a bit closer with you, Jules, and he's like, in all honesty, I didn't come across this information in a straightforward, honest way, but it's more important you swallow your pride and live. Don't go in blind. And like kind of just pats you on the shoulder.
Look, Ghost, I'm not forgiving you, and I will pass judgment on everyone back home, but thanks.
You're welcome. Hi. And like sticks a hand out to you, Cass. Ghost Rising. You seem nicer than the witch lady.
Cass grabs him and pulls him in for like a half hug, and in his ear says, okay, actually, let me rewind.
And stand it out to you.
No, can you tell me what it is that he said to Lefty? He said, "There's an orc in town who does what you do."
Yes.
Okay. Fast forward. Pulls him in close, and he says in his ear, "Speak quickly. What is it that Lefty does?" But the hug looks like long and embracing, like they've been friends for years.
And he has like the awkward like 3 slow taps on your back, and during that time, it ain't magic.
And he pulls away from the hug, and he says, "It's good to see you." And he walks past him and sits down next to Lefty.
Quick question for Lefty. Does anyone in this group have purple eyes?
No.
No.
Yeah,
All right,
you kind of like make the rounds and like squint into his eyes a little bit, and then you like do the quick like check around. And Ghost also does not have purple eyes.
Sorry, I need a. You can tell the look of a person by looking in their eyes. You all seem like good sort.
Window to the soul, they say.
Yeah, something like that.
Rowena, good to see you.
Is it?
You are helping out my family, and I appreciate that. He's got a good sense of character, He trusts you, I trust you.
Well, hopefully I'm worthy of the trust, because I don't have any plans to leave him before he sees this through.
I'm happy to hear that. But I'm off. Long road, schedule to keep, and I'm already tired. So, give Arthur my best. Good luck to all of you, and I'll be off. And he starts making his way past.
Rona's just gonna give him a long, hard look.
Did I say something?
You did. That's all right. I won't hold it against you. Want a cookie for the road?
I'm good.
All right, then.
And leaves you all with the ball cactus that's already been plucked and pruned, and rotates around and starts heading up the road. Waves at the family who's like sticking their eyes out, and they're like getting off, and they're, thank you so much for for getting us this far. We can definitely take it from here. Your horses have done a fine job, and like gives each of them a carrot from or gives two of them a carrot and gives like Brutus a parsnip. They're not a fan of parsnips, so they hand off the bad vegetable to the ugly horse.
Aww.
Cass is seemingly bothered by this. He's still a fucking horse. He might be the ugliest one, but he's still a horse.
Parsnips are a perfectly good vegetable. I don't know why everyone's making a big deal out of this.
How is this horse ugly? Like, does it
aftertaste.
just bare its teeth like all the time? Like, what are we looking at here?
So like horses have big heads, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like you swear that the eyes aren't level, but you can't really focus your eyes on both of its eyes to confirm. So there's just something off when you look at it. It also just looks like whoever groomed it last just started like it. Maybe two people started grooming it, and they like met in the middle, and instead of going back and fixing one of their lengths, it just kind of does this weird thing in its mane. So it's just
To this horse's
cattywampus.
credit, if you put it next to a really shitty guild donkey, it
Mhm.
would be like clearly like an 8 out of 10. But because it's next to two 10 out of 10 horses, it's like a 4.
It's
Yeah.
it's there to make the it's there to establish the average. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Poor horse.
it's a rental. You're fine.
Rowena is gonna cruise by HJ really quick and just be like, "You all right?"
Look, I'm gonna be okay. I just did not expect to see him here, if I'm being honest.
No, that's fair. He seems to know a lot of things about a lot of things, and I don't trust people like that. It's not personal to him. That's just a general rule I have.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the vibe that there's a lot of things that I wasn't told about back home, and starting to come to terms with that.
Well, we live, we learn, and now we're gonna go get a nice dinner and hopefully a nice rest, and then we're gonna try to find your cabbage cactus.
Look, Lefty said if I finish that burger, I get to meet another fate.
If it's fates you're interested in, I can tell you about 2 that I've met.
You've met 2 fates.
Really? So have we. And HJ kind of
Really?
like bursts that out and then like covers his mouth, but definitely
Really?
bursts that out.
The like farmer guy who's there like still undoing the horses just kind of like wide-eyed looks over his shoulder and just scans the 4 of you and just starts to like frantically work a little bit faster.
No, it's good.
Well-
We're champions.
Oh, well, I guess you could say I'm something of the sort. Why don't we discuss our fateful meetings over a burger? I am absolutely starving, and my arm is still sore from slicing something with a rapier. That was a bad choice.
Do you want a cookie? Rowena literally just like opens a pouch and pulls out like a chocolate chip cookie and offers it to you.
Lefty, hyper conscious of his appearance, looks around. Is anybody who's all looking at Lefty right now? Is this cookie is being offered to him?
Everybody?
Everyone, probably.
The word cookie gets said, and like the little kid can be seen like popping up like through like the canopy on the back of the cart, and he's like definitely has his head out for like cookie, and you can see his mom like pull him back in.
I mean,
The
Rowena will
farmer's
make eye
still
contact with
doing it.
mom. If mom doesn't like say no, then she will give the kid a cookie. She's got several.
She'll take one and like take a small bite out of it, and then like break off some for the kid.
Lefty will say, as a token of appreciation, I accept all payment.
And he
course,
takes
of
the
course.
cookie. And he's secretly super happy he has the cookie, but he doesn't want
Yes.
but no one's allowed to know he's happy.
Yeah, the mask is up. They can't see your.
He's got a
inventory
brood.
right
He
now.
must brood. And he just like
Yeah,
awkwardly like mask feeds. He's like
yeah. In the event that we take a short rest, you can gain an additional 1d6 hit points by eating this cookie. I have 2 different
Wow.
kinds of special cookies. That's what this one is.
What
Can I have a
flavor is
cookie
this
too?
one?
This one's chocolate chip. The other one, the ones that Cass and I had were chocolate chip peanut butter. That's how I can tell the difference.
Can I have one too?
Ah,
Sure. Cass, you want another cookie?
Cass just sticks out his hand. Thank you.
There's like a guard there with a pike too that's like way too big for him. Just kind of standing there at the circle now with his hand out. Oh, sweet. And like goes back to like his little post like next to the gate with the cookie.
Yeah, I was say no, Rhoda. Just like, oh no, your job sucks. If I get a chance to bake, I'll make you some pie or something. The worst.
Oh, guard, actually, I have a question for you. Have you seen an orc? Have you seen an orc come through here?
We have plenty of orcs in town. They're like
anyone new?
10,
anyone?
15, no, not that I'm aware of. Not since the last folk you kind of came through, Lefty. Thanks, man. You really make this job easy.
No problem. I try to help others. I'm looking for an orc who's gives off a similar air to myself. Does that seem to help at all, or
Brooding, Angsty, Youthful,
potentially?
I guess there's some teenager orcs that run about through town.
That's a low blow. Lefty like winces and bites his tongue. He's like, "Hey man, you need to grow up. Not today." Thanks, you've been a great help. And he pats him on the back. He's like, "Come on, let's go get a burger. Not wounded." That's my pride.
Bye, Lefty. Oh, let me help you, folks. And like the horses have been detached from the cart, and the guard like helps them like wheel it into town a bit to like get their bearings. And he shows off paperwork like, "Oh, your deed's right this way," and like it's like taking them through town in a different direction. And yeah, you get through these walls and you see lots of like sandstone buildings, lots of like curves. There's some like open rings kind of like built into houses that are like stacked up and things like that seem to allow the winds to pass through. It doesn't look like they were made out of smooth material, but being out here in the sands and the winds have kind of smoothed everything that's out long enough. You can tell some like rough tables that are still out have almost been sanded by the sand and not paper. As you kind of make your way through town, it's quiet, but there's still some action here and there. There's plenty of street lamps that are lit with, alternating between 5 and 6 kind of like candles going off. And you just keep noticing those reoccurrences of, these big cities. 11 gets kind of worked into a lot of the city planning here and there. But you, make your way around. Lefty's pointing out shops here and there. You come up down 2 or 3 alleys. You're able to kind of like drop your horses off at like a kind of a public stall area. They've got water, and there it is, home of the largest burger.
Whoa!
Take it all in. Beautiful.
Nice smell of meat wafting out, mixed in with some fresh bread, grilled onions. Seems to be kind of like one big round like walk type area in the middle of the restaurant with just burger patties on it left and right, buns toasting off, and then all around kind of the perimeter of like this big domed shop, just people munching on burgers, drinking mead.
Well, I think there's a perfectly suitable place to get some munches. So, food on you. I don't have money.
Cash shoots a look at Rowena that's like, it like looks at her and goes, "What in the hell?"
Okay.
Apparently, this entire
anything?
town is full of teenagers,
Look,
so I don't
He
know.
helped us. The least that we can do is get him a meal. Lefty, I'll buy you a meal. HJ has no idea how much the burger costs if you don't finish it. Hasn't thought that far ahead.
HJ, that's your name, right?
Yeah.
You're a good sort.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, I got you. Thanks for helping us out back there with the spider dogs. Those were tough.
Those things. They're not exactly dogs. I hope you know that. They're are more like bugs.
Yeah, spider dogs.
No, I've seen spiders. Those were definitely more crustacean-like.
Oh,
They're still in the arthropod genus. We're mincing words here.
I'm gonna start ordering.
Rowena's just gonna slide up to Cass and just be like, Gold says HJ throws up if he tries this eating contest.
Cass looks at Rowena and goes, all four meals. Says he doesn't throw up.
Bet.
Immediately, Cass walks over to the nearest counter and gets 4 large glasses of mugs of water, of just water, and comes over to HJ, and he looks him square in the eye, as serious as he can be, and he goes, "You're gonna eat this whole fucking burger."
Yeah, I'm really hungry.
And he goes, "And I'm gonna help you by being your food coach." And he puts all 4 glasses of water down in front of him.
Now that's cheating.
Hey. And he kind of puts his hand back towards Rowan and goes, "We didn't establish rules."
What kind of sportsmanship is this?
The winning kind. And then he puts the cup into HJ's hand and guides the water into his mouth, and then orders the burger for him.
Yeah, there's like this big stocky human guy behind kind of this like walk-like area. He's just got like wicked long sideburns and like kind of just scraggly hair on top. He's like, "Just one challenge or any other takers?" "Not him. We know you can't finish it, Lefty. Stop ordering it."
But I really...
Nope, you're cut off from the challenge. You can have a regular or a double. You want a 3x3?
I'll get a double. Just give me a double.
Bacon?
Of course. Yes. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Listen.
Wait, Lefty, I thought you've done this before.
No, I said specifically I haven't done this before.
Right.
You see that wall over there? That empty one? That's where they put the winners.
Yeah, so they have this like nice wooden sign that's probably like 9 feet long and it says winners, and there's 11 like nails already pre-done into the wall. So you got 6 on top and 5 below, and there are no portraits hanging up.
It explicitly has never been done before.
Until today.
I thought that you queued a different song specifically for the eating competition.
Battle music for the eating competition.
I was so stoked. I was like, "Oh hell yeah, we're rolling initiative for this food competition. It is on."
I'm just laughing because this is the easiest I've ever had it for pull quotes for episode titles and pull quotes. I've already got a running list. It's great. I'm so happy. One less thing I have to think about.
Happily throwing on the battle music for this, but yeah, you can see him like reach down into essentially a cooler, and he just grabs like a stack of regular patties and start shaping the 4-pounder patty, because I mean he's got like 1/4 pound patties, so he pulls out 4 and then another 4 stack and then another 4 stack, and he's got 16 regular patties that he just like starts rolling up kind of like on top of the cooler on top of some butcher paper, and then he just like gets it into a ball and just slams it down into a puck that takes up like the entire middle part of the grill. He pulls out the super cut bacon. You can see him chop up one piece into like 12 other pieces and puts it on other burgers that are going out. And then he puts 3 fresh ones down uncut. He goes and cracks eggs like slightly bigger than a baseball, but not quite as big as a softball, and just cracks those and like pops it a little bit. And it's just going to do them over hard for you. The goo tends to make it more bearable. Or the lack of goo makes it a bit easier for the people that have done it before. And he just gets to assembling this, grabs just like the biggest spatula of like homemade sauce and just coats this big old bun and just makes this delectable looking burger, but is definitely like a little over a foot in diameter.
Cass looks at this whole process, looks up at the guy and goes, "How much does this burger cost?"
2 gold deposit If you don't vomit, you get one back. You finish it, you get them both.
At which point he, as like sneakily as possible, and I will roll for sneak, pulls out 2 gold from his pocket, from his bag, and slides them over to Rowena, admitting defeat. But while doing that, looks over at HJ and just mouths the words, "You got this."
So yeah, he gets the burger finished. He's got it like propped up on his plate on the shoulder. He's waiting for the 2 gold deposit, and he starts going over the rules. He's like, all right, there's no time limit. However, if you stop eating for more than 2 minutes, we're calling it quits. So you got to take at least 1 bite every 2 minutes until this entire thing's gone. Hey, if you win, we will get your portrait engraved in one of these here pieces of wood. And he like kicks a stack of like just sheets of wood, and there's like this eager gnome like in the corner like waving. He's like, yep, that's Maddie. He'll go ahead and do your portrait. And you get this nice commemorative scarf, and he pulls out like a bag that has 1.5 scarves, and it's just like a repeating burger pattern on it, like over and over and over again. He's like, yep, champion burger scarf for the winner. We'll get your picture up, burgers for free, and local legend has it, you'll meet a fate if you finish it. But I also think that started out because of that one guy who died eating. You ready?
Which fate is it? The trickster fate that you meet then?
The joke is that you meet the god of the grave, because the only way to finish this is to kill yourself.
Oh,
so the guy who died.
That's no fun. We've already hit that number on our punch card.
Yeah, I've already met him. Great guy.
Hey, 1 in 11 chance it's someone else. 10 in 11 chance it's someone else.
Maddie.
I don't know. It's 4 pounds of beef.
Wait.
And just like drops it on the table with just a big old.
Look, Maddie, save some time. And Jules like cracks a super cheesy grin. Start carving that.
And yet he like pulls out like some sketch paper and like all these intricate like pencils and pens and things like that, and he definitely like starts sketching you out, like with your like cheesy grin.
Yep,
and he's like
straight
gives you the
cheesing.
thumbs up to continue.
All right.
Yeah.
You're telling me that little kitty cat is gonna eat that entire burger?
And Cass turns to him and goes, I don't know, are you interested in betting on it?
Are you and I the same person? What's going on right now?
It's very concerning. Do you all and Rhoda Fisher's Red need some cough drops?
No,
They're not
this
magical. They're just cough drops.
It's like ginger and honey, just in like little wraps of paper.
I don't know why, but actually, I do know why. You know, this reminds me of. Actually, never mind. Forget it. I'm not going to bring up that reference. But
Save it for the after show.
yeah.
All right. HJ digs in. HJ digs in.
Let's get to it. It is a gauntlet of a burger. You definitely like dig in and just start going to town. Nestor, I believe Cass wanted to assist in this endeavor in some way. What are some sage words of advice as someone who's done an eating competition with you? What do you got for him?
Nothing that wouldn't be considered illegitimate in an eating contest. But Mark, as the player, I would like to ask you, if I cast Cure Wounds on HJ midway through this burger, can we say that empties some of his stomach? Now, if you say no, I'd also like to counter with Absorb Elements.
Burger is not an element.
Yeah, it is a physical object. You can't absorb elements when hit by a mace.
Not with
even if
that
mace is
attitude.
made out of meat. So I.
Okay.
Because the meat's made.
But here's the thing: if Cass is
necromancer.
gonna do this, Rowena is going to offer to cut Jules' burger in half for him with her short sword. At which point, I would like it to get cold.
Yeah, all of these things can happen because I love it. Not the absorb elements. That's just asinine. I will allow you to burn a spell slot of Cure Wounds to act as Pepto-Bismol halfway through in order to relieve some fullness.
Let's go.
Without him regurgitating. So you still get your gold deposit back for the not vomit clause. So that one's almost all but guaranteed. Any other advice you would like to do? We've got an action for the second roll of this endeavor.
Let me make sure my gold count is actually right. Okay, the 2 that I paid to Rowena and the 2 for the burger. Okay, so I turn and look at HJ, and I say, look, Jewel, all this stuff with your family, all this stuff with your home, none of that matters more than the enemy in front of you right now.
Spoken like a true seasoned adventurer.
So, after every few bites, I want you to take a conscious, big gulp of water to help the food get down into your stomach. Okay? And then halfway through,
okay,
when you're feeling a little too full, you give me the sign.
Yep.
And then he leans as far back into his chair as he can with the mead, and he just stares at him, waiting for him to eat the burger.
Lefty just slowly bites into his basically happy meal. Just with envy.
The scene is set, the table is there, the advice goes down, and you come in at like a 90-degree angle and just give that baby a slice right down the middle, and the sword comes out nice and clean, and that burger is a little chilly now. It seems like a big enough burger, all the heat just sinks out of it. It's totally a normal thing that happens. But you've got this nice big cold burger split in half in front of you. I need a Constitution saving throw.
Just out of character, is like cooling down something supposed to make it easier or harder to eat?
Probably more uncomfortable. Like this was supposed to be a hot meal.
The point was to make it more difficult because despite the fact that Cass has already conceded defeat, Rowena feels like she hasn't had a win in a hot minute. And this is driving the point home. Also, she loves HJ, but his competitive streak, she's worried is going to cause problems for us. So she wouldn't mind
right to his head,
taking him down just a little bit.
HJ's gonna pull this dub out. For family.
Get me a constant.
It's all about family, man.
Get me a Constitution saving throw. This burger came
Can I have it?
nice
Do I get
and hot,
advantage?
A little bit of steam.
Because of all the coaching?
Ranger inspiration, you might say? I'm sorry.
You can say no.
I believe you already burnt your inspiration, correct?
I didn't.
Bardic inspiration only lasts for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
I'm gonna make this.
Nice
I'm gonna
try,
make this con
though.
saving throw without advantage.
Your first con save is straight up.
Fuck. That's a 7.
Oh fuck.
Awesome. You start digging in, and it's like 4 bites in, and that first big gulp of water, and you're like, my eyes might have been bigger than my stomach. Instead of 2 more rolls to finish, you have 4 rolls ahead of you.
Oh no!
But there is some benefits. Your next roll, con saving throw, with advantage due to the dunking water tech.
Okay. Here it comes. As I just like take those first few bites and I like wipe a tear off my eye. Oh, I can do this. That is a dirty 20 for my second roll.
And this second wind is a coming. You're like, no, this burger cannot handle me. And you dig in the water technique, cutting through that bread. This is like just eating a giant flavorful meatball at this point. This isn't even a sandwich. Okay. You're starting, you're going. You do feel that bit of fullness coming on. Either this roll or the next roll, you can use the Cure Wounds to give you advantage.
I'm going to use it right now.
Let's go. Another con save. with advantage.
Another dirty 20.
Yes, and you are just powering on through. You have now completed the first half of the burger, and it's at this point you kind of get those eyes locked in. You can definitely feel how full you are, and then you get kind of that just motivation. How do you cast Cure Wounds there, Cass?
When HJ looks at me and like kind of raises his eyebrows, I touch him. I grab his wrist, which is reaching for the water, and I just say, "You've got this." And through my contact with the hand is how I cast it to him, so that nobody notices it. And
Nice.
Are you going to give me? Do I have to roll for it, or is it just an advantage? You're giving it to him as advantage?
Burn that slot. He
it
took
is
the
burn.
advantage on that last roll, so he's good. He was able to get through that knowing he had kind of this second wind reserve into it. And yeah, that like extra full, like sitting in kind of like the top of your chest. Maybe I ate a bit too much. Sinks down. You can still feel that you've ate a whole bunch, but you've got that second wind. You have half a giant burger in front of you. It's 2 pounds of beef, a strip and a half, and an egg and a half. You got this.
I look over to Lefty. How far have you gotten?
How far has Lefty gotten?
Oh, you'd be done with your burger at this point.
No.
Like,
but-
like in the challenge.
with
Oh, in
his-
the
with
challenge?
What's my
yeah.
best attempt? What's
Yeah.
my best attempt?
Oh, dude, I'm leaving that up to you. Like, have you gotten close once? I feel like you've tried it at least 3 times.
Lefty, I think he's given it a good, honest go. I think he got about like 4/5 of the way done, but then he just like that last bite, he just stared at it down for like 5 minutes. He's like, I can't do it.
Mhm,
I can't do it.
Yeah,
And then
you-
he just passed out for an
yeah,
hour.
you definitely got that 2-minute call on you because you hadn't taken a bite yet, and you had like fallen asleep. And they're like, he's one of the closer ones. Like he's good.
I've done it a few times because he's bold. I like point out to like the section. I'm like, if you get that far, that's my best attempt.
Holy fuck. Okay, I got a ways to go. Can't stop now. And I take another bite, and I'm gonna roll another save.
Yeah, keep it going. Con save, hit it.
19.
That is a success. And yeah, you are chomping on through. And it's this time that you start realizing that as you've been working on this second half, the crowd has been building up. You are down to about a quarter of this burger. Your arm's a little tired because you've been like holding it with your left, like almost like a giant burrito. Like it's massive amount of food. You've been chomping down on it. And it is at this point, you're like, it's so cold. All of this grease from the bacon and the eggs is just congealed. The dunking, your like water jugs in front of you are all like brown and have like little bread bits in it. And you have this feeling of disgust kind of wash over you. Give me a wisdom saving throw to see how your morale's doing after you've been chomping down 3 pounds of just cold ass meat.
Could Lefty like slam his hand on the table and be like, "Hey, Jay, look at me. Look at me. You can kill a bug. You can eat a burger." Could I give him advantage with like some like morale support for chance?
Go ahead and give me a charisma roll. Let's.
Oh man, Lefty ain't good at those.
Yeah, let me see what skills you have here.
He is 100% brood.
Mhm.
It's so bad. That's a 3. It's
Yeah,
a 3.
You're saying it in like that deep dramatic voice, and what HJ hears is bug burger,
No.
and he's like, oh. And you're like, yeah, the texture's just blending into each other. So yeah, go ahead and give me a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, and I think HJ just lets out this massive, like 9-second burp. Oh no. That's a 4 for the whiz save.
It is mentally beating down on you. Would you prefer disadvantage on your final con save or a -5?
Oh.
Disadvantage is mathematically better. It works out to about a 3.5. I've checked.
I'll do that
Reminder
one.
for everybody
Listen to this
that,
man. That is a min-max strategy right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, everybody, just a quick reminder that Offbeat Outlaw's YouTube is amazing, and he will review all of your power builds as long as you do them legally within the 5e rules.
Yeah.
He will also call you out if you don't do it legally.
Do it
I actually
illegally.
haven't seen that yet.
I checked the first episode.
I feel like that's your Patreon exclusive, is just roasting all of the people who broke the rules.
Okay.
If you're not doing that, you should.
True.
I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll with disadvantage. I'm rolling them on D&D Beyond, so everyone knows. So
yes.
So people can
Oh.
see. So people can see. Here
There
it
is.
comes.
Here we go.
Oh, they're so bad.
I
They're both
can't see
awful.
it. We also have a podcast.
They are. I rolled a 6 and a 5. My modifier is +1, so that is a 6. No, I was so close.
That time it was
It's
exactly
just-
the same.
I, the
It is
player, am
this-
so sad for you, but my character is thrilled.
Hey, disadvantage was only a -1 for you. You chose correctly.
Oh, perfect timing. Oh, -2 charisma. We could have used you a hot second ago when we failed a charisma roll that was very important.
-2 charisma. What's up, y'all? Welcome on to the Torpid Gaming Network. We're playing D&D 5e. It's our campaign called 11 Fates. What?
Are you sure?
Well, we're in the middle of a food eating competition that I think I just lost. After succeeding 3 con saves, I finally failed the 4th one, and we're about to figure out what the consequences of that are. But welcome on in, y'all. If you haven't gone and followed -2 charisma yet, give them a follow. Just do it. What are you doing right now? It takes 3 seconds. But welcome on in, y'all. Bonk.
Hi, friends. Welcome. You join our party at a burger eating competition. This place boasts that they have the largest burger in the world, and they do. It is 4 pounds of shredded meat made into a patty, 3 slices of super cut bacon, and 3 fried eggs, slightly smaller than a softball. It is a massive endeavor between 2 massive buns with a nice house sauce. We got to the last quarter. 1 last roll was needed, and the con save came up 6. So as you're chomping down on this last quarter of the burger, 2 bites down, 3 bites down, 4, you are making progress. And it's that 4th bite that just won't swallow.
No.
You're like just shy of where Lefty got to.
I'll take exhaustion. I want to eat it.
For the podcast listeners, Mark just had the sickest smile I've ever seen on his face when Sunset Screw said that.
We're gonna get so fucked when
No.
we get stabbed in our sleep and H3 just doesn't wake up.
Tell you what, you are probably about 5 bites away.
You'll let me take a level of
3
it.
levels of exhaustion to power through. Guarantee 2 levels of exhaustion to roll for it.
Let's see. I'm looking at what does level 3 exhaustion do again?
Exhaustion goes over.
Disadvantage on attack rolls, saving rolls, speed half, disadvantage on ability
When you
checks.
get a long rest, you will get to go up 1 level of exhaustion. So you're going to be full for like 3 days if you force this down. Which, some people would love.
Hey, remember that one time that Cass took 2 levels of exhaustion and then had to fight a duel and got his ass kicked? I just want to remind you of that.
What was
It would just be
the
disadvantage on saving
consequence?
throws, on skills, your movement would be cut in half.
What's the consequence for 2?
2, you get to roll again to try and finish it off. A con save, straight up, no advantage, no disadvantage.
And
So
2
the
levels of
exhaustion will set in after your roll.
Oh, I mean, if I'm going to take exhaustion, I may as well get the thing.
You want that guaranteed 3 levels of exhaustion coming up?
Disadvantage on attack and saving throws. Saving throws counts for death saves. It's disadvantage on death saves too.
Oh. You've never died before. You're fine.
That's true.
Mr. Lowest hit points in the party.
I'll take 2 levels. I'll take 2 levels.
2 levels for the roll. Straight up.
You can't eat my cookies if you're unconscious.
Go. You won't be able to eat anything after this.
All right. Here it is.
2 levels exhaustion. Here comes the roll. It like the crowd goes silent as they think you stop. You stare at the burger for like 90 seconds, and the chef like looks up and he's like, "You got about 30 seconds to take another bite," and you just will it into the mouth, and the crowd just erupts. There's like 20 people now gathered around your table that are like, "Woo, get it, man!" and just like cheering away.
Here it goes.
Con save.
That's a 19. Everybody sees it.
One bite after another. The cheers getting louder.
That's a
and
19.
The last bite, you just, with your claw out, just shove it down your gullet, and it stays. And just the entire place erupts. And you can hear Maddie in the corner just being like, "Yippee, yippee," and like just grabs a piece of paper and just starts chiseling away. And you can just start seeing things going. And there's like a nice drawing of you pre-eating that's been finished that he's using as his basis.
Cass gives him a big hug and picks him up around the waist.
Whoa!
I'm
gonna...
Remember, if he vomits, it's void. And then everyone just goes real quiet.
and Cass stops, still holding him, and like gently puts him down in his seat again.
And everyone just lights up cheering again as like the cheeks go nice, and he like just exhales. And that's on that exhale with your feet up on there, you feel so exhausted. Your like ribs feel like they're being pressed from inside. Like you have never felt this full. Yeah, go ahead and take 2 levels of exhaustion.
Already done. I've already slammed those.
You just have, and you're a monk.
Oh my god. Rowena is just gonna like slide up kind of behind Cass and like slip the 2 gold back to him. Again, similar to what he did before, just like very subtly, and just be like, "You know, he's gonna be the death of us if he keeps up with this sort of thing, right?"
Cass turns over his shoulder and just says, "Well, good thing we don't plan on dying anytime soon."
Fair enough. She just kind of winks at him, slips him the 2 gold, and then heads down the bar and flags down the bartender for another ale.
Yeah, you do, and yeah, people just start running around and people start cheering, and like some guy runs out into the streets and they're like, "Somebody did it! They actually did it!" And they like run out, and like other like establishments start to empty out, and there's like a like portable grill that gets brought out. Like another chef like comes in and puts on a hat and like starts selling at people, and like this burger joint that was like winding down has now like kicked it up into like the after party. And everyone's just like celebrating. They're like, "I was here, I saw it, did you see it? He just shoved it down his mouth." And they're like starting to tell stories and things like that, like run around, and there's a drink special that starts, but it's full priced beers. And yeah, just everyone start going to town, and it's just so interesting. And you don't even see this guy just kind of like slide in next to you at the table. He's like, "That was quite impressive." And you look over, and he's just this male elf who's just like twiddling his hands like back and forth. He's got like a pen that he took from like the clipboard, and people are like trying to sign in on a table, and they're like, where is this?" He's got like this really like nice cloak on. It's seen some travel, but yeah, it just seems kind of just like this bland elven dude. And you can just see him like tip a drink like off the table, and then like someone immediately slips into it, but the person that picks him up like just immediately like love at first sight, and they go off.
Yeah,
it's fun to watch.
HJ is like, that's not processing food coma setting in. He's like leaning back in his chair with his hands over his head, attempting to stretch his stomach as high, like wide as it can go. We've all been there. Just
I'm
me?
just
Okay.
imagining a cat just
Yeah.
like split.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I literally sent a nice meme into our Discord chat, which is the possum sneaking into someone's kitchen with like a giant thing of Entenmann's muffins, and it just ate them all, and it's just like laying back, its stomach is just massive, and it's just do what you must. I've already won. And oh yeah, sorry. He's leaning back like this.
Thank you.
He's leaning back with his microphone.
Yeah, he's leaning back with his microphone and stretching out his stomach as he looks over. Yeah, that was pretty impressive, wasn't it?
A person who can eat that much food, I don't think that's ever been done. That's something you would like to get done.
Something I'd like to get done? Well, I'd like to have the biggest, juiciest. Let me look up in my notes to make sure I'm describing this. I would like to have the fenced off cabbage cactus right here in my lap right now.
Not a genie. Come on, that'd be crazy. No, you're a go-getter though. You already know where the cactus is though. Huh.
Well, you just asked me a question, and that's all.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all I could. That's all I could think of.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Do I know you?
oh, didn't see you there. Lefty, is it?
You might call me that. Who are you?
Just a traveler. I just saw all this commotion, and it's at this point you realize like he's sitting between the two of you, and it's like one of those like rounded like booths, and there's a wall behind you.
Yeah.
Does this guy seem similar to any of the other fates I've previously met?
No, he is like mortal sized. Every other fate you've had has been larger than life, like
Okay.
over 7 feet tall. This guy is like literally the average height. He's like 5'8".
Well, nice to meet you. HJ, how are you holding up?
Look, I'm feeling really slow, and don't think I can do anything for a while. But I'm okay. I don't have gas or indigestion. Shout out to Cass for that coaching.
Yeah, Cass is locked on this dude who appeared out of nowhere because Cass didn't leave. He's just been sitting there watching this guy very carefully, wondering how he got there.
Yeah, Rowena also, as soon as this guy showed up, just like locked in and like kind of rolled up and is doing that like casual like one hand resting on her Smith's hammer in her belt, just watching.
And like he like does the look around, and you're like, oh, you're owls. Okay. Tell you what,
What are owls?
don't worry about it. You did good. And he like pats you on the shoulder. Go ahead and gain 1 to your constitution.
Oh, not that. +1. Okay, got it.
And then he just like puts a rolled up piece of parchment on the table for you.
Oh, oops.
This was fun. I'm happy I got to see this. Life's worth living. You don't mind, I gotta use the bathroom. He like starts just scooting up to your side there, Lefty.
I'm just gonna watch him and just like take very careful note of his appearance. Did he have purple eyes?
No purple eyes. He has brown eyes, symmetrical face, and you're like, oh, he should be attractive, but he's not. He's just bland.
No. He's handsome ugly.
Yeah. He's like the perfect 5. But because he's the perfect 5, you're like, maybe he's a 7?
There's nothing wrong with him. You feel kind of bad calling him ugly.
But he's also not attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you look at him and you're like, how would I describe his face? His face is round. He's kind of brown eyes. He's got a nose that is average. His jaw is, it's not hard cut. It's not like a soft, it's just, he's almost too generic.
I think we just met someone's Sims character.
I'm still trying to get out. Do you mind? And he's like just doing that like scoot thing onto the cushion where like his hip is just bumping up against your hip, waiting for you to like get up and like let him out.
Sure. Just who are you exactly?
Oh, I told you.
And don't say, don't worry
coming
about it.
through and-
Don't say that. Who are you?
What have you done to know?
And HJ looks over, and he's leaning back, but the player is going to lean forward into the mic because I'm a good mic user.
Thank you.
Who are you?
And he like looks back. He's like, "Would you prefer my name or this piece of paper?" And he like puts his fingers down and like rolls out the scroll that he put in front of you, and there is a perfectly drawn map of like a dock on like the back side of Alpine's Peak, and then a blown up drawing in the corner of exactly where the coral is that you need. That's underneath the like mollusks on the underside of a pier.
HJ grabs the document. Look, Lefty, it doesn't matter. Let him go. It doesn't matter. I need this.
All right. Go take your piss, I guess.
Yes. This was fun. And like he like just starts walking backwards through the crowd as like people are just like going back and forth and passive, and then you see like two people just completely trip, and like a beer goes flying through the air and like lands on the portable grill, and there's like this big old eruption of fire, and you can see off in the distance like two people kissing, and then two other people are like, "That's my wife, husband," at the same time, and like a fight starts breaking out, and like just chaos ensues as this person like leaves off through the crowd.
Rowena is gonna turn to Cass and just be like, I made a joke about the trickster fate, but there isn't one. So what the fuck was that?
Jules, go ahead and get me an intelligence roll with advantage, and everyone else can take an intelligence roll as well. I don't think any of you have history.
I'd say Zep, the player, knows
I
exactly
do.
what just happened.
I have history.
Oh, you have
check.
history? Go ahead and apply your history bonus to it.
So I don't think I have history, but I'm gonna double check.
I rolled a 17 to the end.
I
That
also
is
rolled a 17.
A 17 for Jules.
Hey!
24 for Lefty.
The 17s are like 80% positive. That was the god of life, who has a knack for causing just forces life to move on, whether you want those life events or not. And you are without a doubt there, Lefty. Like, that was my third fucking fate. That is the god of life. I have heard about this bullshit. He will sometimes reveal himself if he causes too much life to happen. Fuck.
But life happens fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
I think Cass looks at HJ, looks at Lefty, and just mouths the word. Faith?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think we've all just met three fates.
Bonk.
Yeah, what's up?
Would HJ know what city the god of life is a patron of?
yes, it is your city.
Okay, I wanted
That's
to
why
like
you got advantage on that roll.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. I didn't want to like reveal that if it wasn't the case.
Yeah, that is the case. And with the 24 Lefty, you would know that that particular fate is associated with the city of the diaspora.
All right.
Nailed it. I've been having so many problems trying to pronounce that word. Like looking at it, I'm like, that's not how you say it. It is.
No, you did good. I won't even have to cut that one in from another spot later.
Well, seems like we're all pretty special people. Feel like we have a lot to discuss regarding our fateful happenings. You've been kind. I'll tell you about mine first. This guy.
Oh. You don't need battle music for this.
It's a really intense conversation.
I need to give you my like suspense playlist. That would help.
Yeah.
That would involve downtime that I have not preparing.
Well, I've met two others. I've met one. I met the fate of order and the fate of nature, at least I believe. Pretty sure, though. Fate of order runs the roads. It was his gift. It's tall, 7 foot, salt and pepper hair, buzz to the sides. He's got some strange garments, double-breasted vest, slacks, charcoal gray, and a immaculate white banded collar.
He likes to stay tidy.
I guess so. And then there's the god of nature. She's elven, very like. She'd be quite lovely if not for the fact that her mouth was sewn shut with vines of thorns. She didn't speak.
Wait.
And
Her mouth was sewn shut.
That sounds familiar.
yeah, sewn shut with thorny vines.
When we met the god of the grave, his mouth was sewn shut, and when I talked to G, he said the last time he met the god of the grave, that wasn't the case. Have you ever met a tattooed dwarf?
Tattooed dwarf? I've met a dwarf. Big black beard, silver bands in his braids, but
That long cloak that covered most of his skin? That'd be him.
Is that it? Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like him. His name was something simple like AJ or Zach. Robert.
G.
Yeah, he's actually, I feel like I can trust you a bit more now, but, the reason why I keep looking at people's eyes is not because I want to see if I trust them. I'm looking for someone with purple. I'm trying to figure out why I have powers of my own. I can move stuff with my mind. Don't ask about it. But,
I'm gonna respect that request, but I do have several questions.
that's
Continue.
fair enough. I need to show them what I can do, but I'm not supposed to ask for their help. If you see anyone with purple eyes, let me know. But yeah, the two fates I've met, that's them. Nature and order, I believe. And the roads are order's gift. But I can also tell you that the reason why people keep getting attacked on them is if they get in too large a group, the things that travel fast on the roads is not just people and carts and wheels, it's everything, right? It's people's smells, it's their odor, it's their scents. And as such, if you get a large group, that's a lot of smell moving really fast. So naturally, monsters are going to be like, what's that fast moving smell? They come and check out the roads and they see a nice fresh snack. But, yeah.
That
No.
makes sense. Yes. We met the God of Light at the Soul's Purpose Festival down in Daybreak. Made us champions or something like that. Us and others, of course. There's always, 11 chosen for the 11 fates. And then we met the God of the Grave up at Griffin's Roost when we were trying to help a boy.
Curious.
He showed Jules some visions to help him with his quest for his elder.
What exactly is your collective quest?
We don't know. We don't have one.
At the moment, we're helping HJ here try to find out what's happened to his elder. And I can only speak for myself, but my personal quest is to get noticed as little as possible.
And it's at that point you have someone coming up and like pulling down their hat over their face and excuse me. I hear there is a victor here who has vanquished the massive burger. I would greatly like to meet this person. Hello, I'm Louis Pluton.
Well, Louis, gonna take a look over at the wooden board over there. Who's that handsome face smiling back at you?
There is no name, but it is you. It is nice to meet you. Louis.
Hello.
And he like reaches out a hand, and it's this like tall, muscular orc man. He's got like sand colored skin, and you look on up to him, and he's got these light lavender eyes.
And I shake his hand. Very nice to meet you, Honey Jewel.
Nice. And it'd be rude if I don't introduce myself to your friends. Louis. And he reaches out to each of you and saves you for last there, Lefty. Shakes your hand. And that's when you notice he's got those light purple lavender eyes.
I like blink twice, just like I was practicing what I was gonna do for this. Lefty's like, I've been practicing this at home. This is not what I was anticipating how this meeting would go. So I'm just gonna like slide my hand out, like my other hand out, and then I'm going to use what's this thing? I'm gonna use telekinetic movement, and I'm going to grab a mug of beer and telekinetically bring it to my hand, and then offer him a cheers, and then just stare him down while I drink.
And I think what happens is you go and reach for it, and you're like, oh, fuck, bonus action. I got to get that point back.
Yeah. I like, okay, now I can.
Yeah, and he definitely looks a little crooked at you, sees the mug slide on over. Huh. May I sit?
Please do.
And yeah, he just sits on down and pulls out a bag and plops it on the table, and there's just these brightly oranged leaves in front of you. We should have a conversation. And that's where we're going to end the episode.
Can it fade out with Hunted Jewel tying the burger scarf around his neck? That's
Absolutely. Like, these two sit down and have their moment. The artist comes up eagerly with the portrait for you there, HJ, and just shows it off to you. And you're like, sorry, sir, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, just HJ.
Great. And would you like a quote? There is room.
And I look over at my food coach.
I need a zippy one-liner. We're ending the episode, damn it.
You're vaguely famous.
On this day, a burger was conquered.
And put an exclamation mark on that.
Right. And yeah, just gets to chiseling. Quote there, slapped up on the wall, a big uproarious cheer. You stand up, the cloth gets thrown at you, and you just get it wrapped around your neck, and you just, that giant gurgle of a stomach happens, and you're like, I feel terrible. Sink back in, and there's an interesting conversation across the table starting. We'll fade out